All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the third episode of Dave's Networking Corner. So this month's episode was recorded at the WISP America Conference in Oklahoma City, and it's going to feature an interview with Steve Turner, who's the business development manager at Streakwave. And Streakwave is one of our distribution partners that we work with here in North America. So Steve is going to discuss some of the benefits of working with Streetwave, some of the trends that he's noticed in the WISP space, and what they're seeing with the Grandstream products. So with that being said, let's dive right into the episode. All right, so we're here at WISP America in Oklahoma City, and I'm joined by Steve Turner, who's the Business Development Manager with Streetwave, one of our larger partners here. So thank you so much for joining me, Steve.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you want to start maybe by just introducing yourself to the audience in case they don't know you?
Steve Turner. I'm with Streakwave Wireless. We distribute Grandstream products and other items that the WISPs use to make radio networks and things like that. So I have about 30 years plus telecom experience, and I'm business development manager for voice over IP and video conferencing products.
Okay, so absolutely. So that ties in a lot to this, this WISP conference that we're at. Do you want to maybe talk about what sets Streetwave apart from a lot of the other distributors that these WISPs might want to work with? Well,
we've been doing it a while. They know us from. We were one of the early distributors in that WISP focused space. Mm-hmm. So we have a large customer base that has bought from us, has traditionally been our customers for many years. We've grown in product offering, specifically with voice over IP products, with Grandstream's product line coming on board probably 8-10 years ago, something like that. So long history with Grandstream and developing that product or helping promote that product into the WISP market space. So
sure, absolutely.
That's sort of why we do that. From a technical perspective, having somebody like me that can be around for pre-sales engineering or answer questions for odd connectivity issues or things like that. Yeah. I mean, when you get to around 30 years, there's lots of things you've heard before.
Right.
And so that's helpful, I think. We're a highly professional organization. We have multiple distribution warehouses, so we can typically get product to a customer in 2 to 3 days max on regular ground service.
Yeah, plus, that's huge.
Plus we have, all the expedited shipping available to you and all that. So, and we have a huge partnership with Grandstream, so I think that all lends itself to, if you wanted to do VoIP and you wanted to do it with Grandstream, that would be a good match for why you use Streakwave.
Absolutely. And you, like you said, you guys have been doing this for a long time, 30 years, quite a bit of history. Are there any trends that you're noticing within the WISP space right now?
Yes. I actually had a panel this morning that was similar to this question, and I liken it back to when IP voice came about, and the traditional telecom guys were scrambling, trying to figure out how they were going to understand IP. And the IP guys were scrambling, trying to figure out how to do call routing and things they didn't understand. And so both of them had to sort of level up, partner up, borrow technicians, things like that. So the advent of MSPs in the marketplace, I think, also lends itself to the growth in the WISP market. So I think the biggest trend I'm seeing is WISPs traditionally were just, I'm going to build a network, I'm going to provide the connectivity, and then that's where my purview sort of stops. And now, sort of what's the next thing they can do, right? I mean, they're already highly technical. Why would you not add layered services? So I think MSPs who are mature and have their networks built out, their networks run well, and have low latency, low jitter, it lends itself to then layered applications for additional revenue streams and customer attachment or stickiness, right? Yeah. More services you can provide, more money you make, less likely your customer is going to leave and go somewhere else.
Right.
So I think the biggest trend I see is that the WISPs are starting to develop more layered stack services, if you will, business layered services on top of what they do in terms of providing internet.
And I think that really opens the door for Streakwave to step in and to, help with all the solutions that you guys do provide for them.
It does.
Very valid point.
Yeah, and we're getting more questions like that. Like,
Sure.
how do I get started? What do I look at?
Right.
What, best practices, first steps. That we're doing a lot of coaching like that, and then letting them, do their investigation on things themselves and picking out what they want to try to be in that marketplace, or what services they think they can comfortably now attack and handle to provide. So it's a process. It takes a while. It's not going to go doesn't happen in a month.
Right.
But they're out there in the market attaching people to the internet, and they're getting that question: where can I get the X? Where can I get Y? And so we're seeing some partnership stuff where they're handing off to other traditional IT folks, but we're seeing more adoption of them providing that skill, that service in-house.
That's great. Okay. So, this show, I believe we've got 10,000 registrants, I think, that are here. It's quite a bit of people. Is there anything that you're looking forward to the most here at WISP America? Are there any takeaways? I know we're about a day into the show. Are there any takeaways that you have so far?
These shows are similar.
Yeah.
That they come a couple times a year, and the two biggest things that I take away from the show is how many conversations can I have to maybe enlighten somebody or help somebody to make a decision to do an additional service, specifically VoIP in my case, or at least plant the seed that there's more that you can do instead of just providing internet.
Right.
And if we can do that, I think that education, that sparks things, they go back. And so that's the fun part for me, is to plant those seeds. And then when I see those people show after show, you can see evolution.
Yeah,
and that's fun. The other thing about the shows is there's a lot of new product offerings that come out. Emerging markets is another one. So you get to see everybody's new stuff that they're talking about and bringing to the market. So that's probably the two most interesting things.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's very exciting too. So, one thing that I'm curious about, because you've worked with Grandstream for quite some time, and you're very close to a lot of the customers that you're working with. Is there anything in particular that you're hearing from your customers about Grandstream products that might be exciting or worth sharing?
I think you guys have a mantra that you guys adopted a couple of years ago about connecting the world, right? And when I first heard y'all say that, honestly, I was like, why are we going to do things we don't do well?
Right.
But what's happened actually is the opposite. What you've gone and done is created a product portfolio that if you need to outfit a business, SMB type business, right? You don't need a product from anybody else.
Sure.
And there are some players in the market that do that.
Right.
There's not, but not many.
Right.
So that's unique. I like that part of it. Customers like that part of it. And then the second thing I'll tell you is maybe the biggest thing I hear from customers is what I don't hear from customers.
Okay.
Which is, this doesn't work, or that breaks too often, or your RMA rate is very low.
Very low.
1.5, 1.7 maybe.
If not lower than that, depending on the product.
I mean, I get lost in it because we move so many units. I get a few calls, right? But when you think about the number of units, it's really, really low. So I think those two things, your advent of GDMS and GWN was timely. You guys got in at the right time. It's more mature now. It's now merged together, so it's a single login for all that. I think all those things are steps to a customer experience that lends itself very well, especially to the WISP market, where their customer at the end of the tower can be an hour away.
Yeah.
And a truck roll at that point is not a fun thing to do.
Right.
So the more they can do from a single pane of glass with some kind of desktop support person, really facilitates not only the correction for the end customer getting his situation resolved, but it saves so much time and money for the operator.
Yeah.
And So that's been a big player. When I've introduced GDMS to people at GWN, they're like, well, what does all this cost? I was like, it doesn't cost anything. Another feather, right? It's I can do all this and it's free. Yes. You know, so
Well,
I think those things are probably what I hear the most.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm really glad to hear you say that, because we consider that one of our larger competitive advantages.
I think
To
so.
see that play out in real time, it's really exciting to
It
see.
is.
So, and that really does segue into really the last question that I had for you today. You were with us in Cancun a few months ago when Grandstream announced, one of our new products that we're really excited about this year. Our converged solutions. So, we're taking our UC products and our networking products, and we're combining it into an all-in-one solution so that, we can provide everyone everything they need for their network within one product. And I know you were on a panel and you spoke about this in Cancun. You had a lot of, amazing things to say, but I'm really curious, do you think this product will play well within your customer base? And
It could potentially be quite large, especially in the smaller end of what people are deploying.
okay.
I think when you get to a certain user count, maybe it's not, it depends on, again, it's not out yet, right?
Right,
So
right.
we don't know what RAM and chip power and all that's gonna be
Right.
right, exactly yet. So, but made correctly for the target audience, yeah, it could be a game changer, because you can send that one unit out and then whatever endpoint you wanna connect to it, and
Right.
it's like done, and it's going to connect to GDMS. It's going to connect to the controllers and things. About the only fear factor that someone might have that I can see is you have one point of failure.
Right.
Also,
Right.
right? So that could be concerning with regard to disaster recovery. But if you have a 5-person insurance office, 10-person travel agent, plumbing shop, car
Right.
mechanic. At that point, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Sure.
A whole lot of sense. So I'm excited to get it and see it and see what people can do with it and
Yeah.
what adoption rate. But I think, the more things you connect, the more complex it is.
Sure.
So that having it all in one box is not a bad idea.
Absolutely.
Either. So I think it'll be an interesting. People have tried that before.
Sure. Yeah.
And some of it went well and some of it didn't go well, but again, I think that has to do with how it was engineered to
Yes.
start with.
Yes.
It didn't have enough capacity to do everything it said it could do out of the box. If it's done correctly though, and the hardware is right, I think, and I have no doubt it will be, you haven't made anything that the hardware wasn't right in quite some time. So, I mean, 10 more years every product that comes out has been well adopted and well supported and all that. So I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be something that does take off. Is it going to do everything for everybody? Probably not.
No,
It's not made to,
of course
right?
not, no.
It's made for that smaller end, all-in-one kind of shop, and I think it'll do very well there.
Well, it's glad to hear you say that. I think it's going to play very well in the SMB space, like you said. And
Yeah.
I really don't know that the single point of failure will be as much of a concern in SMB. So
No.
it's exciting to hear you say that. We look forward to getting your hands on it and getting your feedback, because we really do value that feedback from our partners.
Yeah, thank you. As soon as you get them ready, I'll take one and I'll see what I can do with it.
That sounds great. I really do appreciate you joining us here today, Steve. Is
Sure.
there anything else you'd like to leave the audience with?
Y'all give us a call, both them, Grandstream and Streakwave. We can help you with your product selections and what you need. We have a pretty high inventory rate. We very rarely are out of things, so just give us a call. We'll help you.
Absolutely, and we'll help you get connected with Streakwave. Just feel free to reach out to us, and we'll make that happen. Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
All right.
See you soon.
Yep. All right, you guys, we're here on the WISP America floor, and one of the things that I did want to talk about is during the interview earlier with Steve Turner, he talked a lot about the merger between GDMS and GWN.Cloud. So I do want to review the 3 different management options that we have available to you. I'm going to start here with our access points. All of our devices come with an embedded controller, and they will allow you to manage up to 50 to 100 devices locally through that controller, which is great for your local deployments. But we also have GWN.cloud, which I think is the best option for all of our WISP here. And the main reason I say that is you're able to go in here and create multiple networks for all of your customers. And we allow you to have an unlimited amount of devices in the cloud where you can configure and manage and troubleshoot all of your devices. So as a WISP, you can take GWN.cloud and set up a separate network for each individual customer that you do have. And the great thing is you can assign a login for each customer. That way they can go into their network and access their devices, but they can't see everyone else that's on your GWN.cloud account. So the third option that we do have available to you is GWN Manager. Now it's essentially the same layout and look of GWN.cloud, except it's our software version. So you can download that on your server and it allows you to manage up to 3,000 devices. So we give you a lot of different management options when it comes to managing all of your networking gear. So everything from our switches, our access points, our routers, we have a few more switches here, can be put in the cloud. The only thing that you are not going to be able to manage in the cloud is going to be our on-managed switches, essentially because these are a simple plug-and-play device. So that's a quick overview of our 3 different management options. If you're interested in learning more, we do have a lot of great resources that provide you a walkthrough on how to actually use the programs themselves or the cloud itself. But if you want to reach out to me, I would be more than happy to answer any questions or do a demo and show you how you can utilize these tools in your deployment.
All right, and this concludes episode 3 of Dave's Networking Corner. I do want to thank everyone for watching, and I hope you found value in this month's episode. As always, I do include my email here on the slide, so feel free to reach out with any follow-ups, questions about Grandstream products, or if you need assistance connecting with Streakwave. Be on the lookout for an announcement around our 4th episode of Dave's Networking Corner that should be coming out from our marketing team very shortly. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.